Hey everybody, welcome to the first installment, first group of the Runner Wind Down. Now, today we're going to be discussing hydration and fuel tips for runners. It can be particularly, you can use these as part of your half marathon or marathon training. Caveat, I am not a registered dietitian. So this information is not going to be replaced for a consult with a registered dietitian. Just throw that information out there. Use knowledge training that I got from some of my training of becoming a certified run coach. And as well as evidence-based research on hydration and fueling for endurance athletes and runners. So, what do you have here? I have my glass of wine ready. What are you sipping on tonight? And I actually have a Oliver peach pie. That's what's on store for tonight. Excited about this information. If you do not know me already, brief introduction. My name is Dr. Latisha Williams. I'm a physical therapist, certified run coach, as well as a runner as well. I like the idea of being able to help out fellow runners, blend my knowledge as a physical therapist with injury prevention, strength and conditioning, and performance for runners. My endurance run journey started about 5 years ago, where I wanted a different challenge and wanted another way to kind of take the crazy away, which some people may be able to relate that way, and a new challenge. I've been a collegiate athlete in basketball, had ran track all through high school in my first year in college, and had been a pure sprinter. Had gotten away from that, then introduced for another challenge in endurance running. So training for my fourth half now, been numerous 5Ks and all that jazz. I'm only half crazy, so I haven't done a full yet. That's on my, hate to say it, it's going to be on my before 40 list, which is about 2 years away from now. So at any time, if you have questions and you want to post them in the comments, if I don't get to them, I will circle back and get to them after the recording, try to answer those for them or be able to use those for future lives. So the Runner Wind Down, Thursdays, 9 p.m. on Facebook as well as Instagram Live. Find me on Instagram at Run for Life Indy. You'll have to excuse, I'm trying to get my viewing correct on both platforms. Hey Stephanie, how you doing? I see you got some tea. And yes, thanks for joining. I'm gonna move that background. Okay, so let's talk about the first step in beginning your hydration and fueling. One of the important keys is to start from the beginning. With the beginning of your training, start and practice with how you're gonna be hydrating and fueling. You hate the idea of you putting in months of training, hours of training, sacrificing your time and your body, and then you switch it up and try something new on the first, on the eve of your first race, or the eve of your first full marathon, first half marathon, or you've done many marathons and you're just trying to figure out what the best fuel and hydration is for you. So begin with what you're going to use for your hydration and fuel throughout your entire training cycle. So picture this, you're getting ready to complete that first half. One of your run friends says, hey, I got this new gel and, it really works great for me. Why don't you try it, on your run? Well, you try it. And then it's the bubble guts. You need to find the nearest porta potty because it wasn't for you. Your body was not accustomed to it. You didn't train with it. And now, you're in GI distress because of trying something new or introducing something new to your system that you hadn't already been training and hadn't already been acclimated to it. There's many ways for you to be able to get fuel out there. So you have to be able to experiment it and make it more individual to the person. So we want to avoid the scenario of running to the porta pot when during your race. You know, you would hate for that to happen as well. Hey there, lady. Another little sip there. All right, let's go. Let's talk about a little bit of background about the importance of water, hydration, and electrolytes. So water delivers the goods, meaning it delivers the nutrients to your muscles and assists in temperature regulation. So as we know, dry bones, everybody's like, you don't want to have dry bones, literally. If you don't get that water, don't get the lubrication that you need and be able to supply that to your muscles and joints that are doing this vigorous activity, you're going to set yourself up for failure. You might start out feeling good and then figure out as you get higher into the mileage that you're starting to peter out, and you're trying to figure out why that may be. Could be something simple as not hydrating and not getting adequate fuel. So we have the risk for dehydration and overhydration as well. So both of those bring their own set of symptoms and issues that you don't want to get into, and clearly can have negative effects. So chew or sip on this. Performance will decrease if you're 1% dehydrated, and it will continue to decrease significantly if you are 2% dehydrated. So just that 1 to 2% can change the game. It can have dire effects on your performance. So we see how important hydration, and as we get over a certain amount of time of exercise, being able to replenish, those electrolytes as well. All right. Oh, have a question. Awesome. What is overhydration? Yes, you can be overhydrated. You can guzzle yourself to too much water. So if you get overhydrated, that can also lead to some gastrointestinal distress. You can start feeling sluggish. You're feeling weighed down as well. It's going to decrease your performance, and it can also overwork your cardiovascular system. So you don't want to be overhydrated. And sometimes that's going to vary on the individual. And sometimes you can also see that you won't be able to know if you're overhydrated unless you start having some adverse effects, unfortunately. So it's very individualized on how much your water intake and your fuel. So you have to set it based on your individual parameters, as well as some general guidelines that we'll continue to talk about. All right. Anybody else have a little something to drink here? I have my Oliver wine. Hello, everybody who has joined so far. All right, let's keep going. All right, so you're going to hear this again. Practice what you're going to do on race day during all your training runs. A way to be able to decide how much hydration that you need, or how much water you're losing is, we have a question. How much you do drink before a race so you don't have to pee during a race? Thanks for that, Stephanie. I actually have the opposite problem with that. I've had prone to not drink enough. So actually, if you pee during the race, depends on the duration of the race. That's not a bad thing at all. But it's one of those things that it has to be individual to the person, and that's why you play around with your hydration and what you're going to do prior to the race, so that you can you have a better idea about what that looks like for you. All right, so how to determine your water loss. So before you go out for a run, you want to measure your body weight before the run. And you can do that in your birthday suit if you like. And then after you run, you're going to go ahead and weigh yourself again. So your sweat loss in ounces is equal to your body weight after exercise. So say you weigh 160 pounds before the run. Now you weigh 158 after. So you've lost 2 pounds. So think about now the general guide is going to be drink 2 cups of water or 16 ounces for every pound that has been lost. So now in this example, 160 to 158, lost 2 pounds. Now I'm going to have 4 cups. I need to drink 4 cups of water to replenish that loss. So you want to be able to play around with how much hydration you need throughout the duration in your run so that you can decrease that amount of water loss. So you kind of work on fine tuning what your hydration is and what that looks like overall. So let's talk about during training runs. So these are general guidelines. Once again, if you want to get definitely directly into what your race looks like and get, at mile 1.5 and this, you want to be able to get direction from a registered dietitian. These that I'm going to talk over here are going to be general guidelines that are based on evidence-based practice, as well as to be able to give you some good resources or starting points. So if you really want to dive deep in and getting particularly a different area in your particular thing, then you can, look at discussing it with a registered dietitian. So general guidelines. If you run in the morning, there are a lot of people for short runs, which short run is under 45 minutes, that go fasted running. That shouldn't be a problem. But a lot of times if you're going to be hitting it longer than that, try, maybe 1 cup of a carb drink or some juice or something like that, or be able to kind of get yourself fueled or have a good dinner the night before. But most of the time it won't be a big issue. And also under that 45 minutes, most likely, the only hydration you'll need, which after the fact, would be water. So you wouldn't have to look at Gatorades and things like that in such a short duration run. A lot of times, if I'm doing a short run or even before would be like a 5K race, I generally have a banana and a half a piece of toast with peanut butter or a half a bagel with peanut butter, and that's a sufficient amount of fuel for a race of shorter duration like that. Let me look at some questions. Jessica, can you talk a little about making sure you're hydrated prior to a race run? Yes, definitely. We will definitely be talking about that. Thanks. All right, that's morning time runner. All right, lunchtime. Some people can get it in at lunchtime. I've done it before too. Just a light snack. You probably want to eat that 1 or 2 hours before the run. Once again, loose guidelines. Test yourself. Evening run, you just want to make sure that you have good fuel and you're eating regularly and getting your proper amounts of, a well-balanced plan prior, so that you won't get to the run and you just don't have enough energy drive to be able to do what you need to do because you didn't hydrate and eat well regularly throughout the day. So some energy, let's look at, keep the questions coming as well. Let's look at the, as far as water and electrolyte replacements. A lot of times when we're losing electrolytes, is a lot of time it's going to be sodium, potassium. So guidelines for replacing those, runs under 60 minutes, water is the best bet. So think about runs under 60 minutes, water. Runs greater than 60 minutes, you will need a little something extra. So this time you're going to be thinking about some type of electrolyte replacement. Like something that's going to have those electrolytes and minerals in it, or like a Gatorade or Powerade or something like that. Whatever you can, your body can handle. A lot of times my body does not handle the Gatorades and Gatorade in particular I haven't had very much because I have too much just GI issues. I feel like it maybe just it doesn't settle well. Just like some kind of like gels and goos for energy, those also kind of just whoop sink to my stomach. So being able to find what, because what works for someone else may not work for you as well. So you want to experiment still in those runs greater than 60 minutes. You're going to have water as well as having some type of electrolyte replacement. So you want to experiment with drinking just 4 to 8 ounces of water. So really just kind of, like gulps of water. So you're not going to go and chug water down. That's what it's going to cause some distress. It could cause some distress as well if you're trying to continue to move and you want all your blood flow to your muscles and not to trying to digest something, or having your stomach feel all sloshy because you guzzled down water can lead into some issues too. So general recommendations, there was a study in, I believe, a journal of Sports Science 2011 that looked at different energy requirements for endurance athletes, and obviously that includes long distance running and running, and looked at kind of what the carbohydrate needs. So those range between 30 grams of carbohydrates to 90 grams of carbohydrates, and that's based on the duration of the activity. So a loose guideline is you need about 30 grams of carbohydrates per hour of exercise. So if that's using some of the gels, and you want to take those with water, because that can help speed the delivery of the energy and help with decreasing that GI disturbance. So you think about kind of what 30 grams of carb looks like, and you might not be eating real food during that time because everybody has a little bit different. It's not too portable to be carrying a banana, but like you could get 30 grams of carb from a banana. Another way you could get 2 tablespoons of honey is 30 grams of carb. So that's why there's a lot of things out on the market that help with that energy system that are easy, from gummies, chews, gels, packets you can put into your water as well. So there's all different types of options for you that way. Have to play around with it, see what works for you. So after exercise, you're going to need, or what could be something that you can use, are carbohydrate and a protein blend, something that has carbs and proteins. And then you want to make sure that you replace your water, just like you've been able to see that water lost hydration and electrolytes as well. Athletes have to be well hydrated. And guess what? If you're out there running, walking, skipping, whatever, you are a runner. You're an athlete. So you have to treat your body as I am an athlete. So you have to be able to replenish the stores that you just got done depleting as well. A key for runs greater than 90 minutes, you really want to get your protein on. So preferably within 15 to 30 minutes. That was a guideline that was shown as part of the RRCA certified run coach certification. It says that preferably between 15 to 30 minutes, get some protein in. So protein, that's what helps with repairing what you just broke down, those muscles, tendons, ligaments, everything that you just put all that compounding pressure on. We want to be able to get that replenished. Get that replenished pretty easy. So back to your question, Jessica, about how to make sure you're hydrated prior to a run, is that if you're doing to do a like a short duration run, you want to start with probably a couple of glasses of water 1 to 2 hours before. Then about 15 to 30 minutes or so before that, go ahead and get another cup of water in. Just a loose guideline to help with your hydration as well. Because like I said, if you go into a race with just that 1% dehydration, then that can already start affecting your performance. So if you feel thirsty, you are already dehydrated. So you want to be able to begin hydration and have that throughout the day. So that's going to help you prior to a run as well. And that's going to help you post-run as well. You want to also, get your water game on after your run. And that's in general exercise as well. After you generally run or exercise, you want to make sure you get your good water on. All righty. Anybody else have any more questions? Awesome. We'll just keep it rolling. Okay, so let's look at either half or full marathon. So this is going to be also individual. A good dietitian will be able to kick you step by step through about what your total race looks like. This is just the general guidelines. So if you're going up to 120 minutes of exercise of a race, half or full marathon, you're going to aim between 30 to 60 grams of carbs per hour. Like I said, this is individual. Also, this is also going to be based on body weight as well. I'm not a dietitian, so I'm not the one that's going to be able to tell you exactly what that looks like. This is just a guideline for you to kind of play around with. So if you go over the 120 minutes, then you're going to aim now going up to that 60 to 90 grams of carbs per hour. Like I mentioned before about that study of endurance athletes stating that you can get up to 30 to 90 grams of carbs based on the duration of the activity. And so you have to prepare your body for the task at hand. And that's just with anything. There's also carbohydrate loading. I'm definitely not in that could be going down into a whole nother rabbit hole in that, and as far as getting your total plan. And also caffeine is a stimulant. There are some things showing that caffeine can help with running performance as well. And then also for your race day, we're going to be using whatever fuel or gels or things that you're going to be using. You don't want to just down and gulp those, so you're just kind of doing like a slow and steady ramp up, kind of slurping it down, as well as being able to replenish that with the water. So a guideline that I've seen is being able to get a slurp or something every 2 to 3 miles or every 15 to 30 minutes to help. That helps with staving off glycogen depletion. So glycogen, being able to get that sugar into the muscles and be able to get that energy into your muscles. That's why you want some type of fuel, because you will be using up your body stores. So that's why you have to have that fuel to help with fueling your performance. Remember, this is a guide, so it's not a replacement for a developed plan. Any more questions? We're gonna keep going here. We are about done. I think we got done. I'm going to hold just for a little bit. Make sure we don't have any more questions. Awesome. If there's any more, I will definitely take care of questions that I see. So before I forget, if you haven't already, please join my weekly text list in which I send out a runner strength or mobility exercise. Most time it's video. Every Tuesday morning via text. So if you want to join this list, text the word runner strength, all one word, runner strength. So RUNNERSTRENGTH. Text the word runner strength, all one word, to 317-316-0290. Hop on the list, get running strength and performance tips sent directly to your phone on Tuesday mornings. Text the word runner strength to 317-316-0290. Look forward to seeing everyone again next Thursday for the runner wind down, where we go and talk about runner performance, strength, injury prevention, all things for individuals to be able to keep doing the things they love to do without relying on pain medications, injections, injuries, so that they can run for life. If you haven't liked my page already on Instagram, is Run for Life Indy, as well as we will be going live from my Facebook page on next week at Run for Life Performance and Physical Therapy. Once again, any questions, feel free to put those in the comments that are related to nutrition and, or let me take that back, we're related to hydration and fuel for running performance. Happy running.